Greetings, art connoisseurs, tubers, and pickers. It's Drew. Time for another installment of the CPMA, and that's the California PICKIN Museum of Art, where I show you individual examples of fine art and antiquities from my own private collection. So let's go to it. I'm really very happy to have come upon this canvas. This is an original oil painting, you guys, from 1963. And I would describe it as a surrealistic still life portrait painting. It's done by an artist, listed artist named James URMSTON, and that's URMSTON. And James URMSTON, that's hard to say, was a California artist, born here, or at least went to school here, and graduated from UCLA in 1955 with his, I believe his MFA, Masters of Fine Art, and he went on to be a professor of not only being an artist on his own, but being a professor at Santa Monica College School of Art for more than 40 years. I think it's from 1960 to 2011, so that's 50 years of teaching. This guy was an art instructor and a lecturer and a great artist on his own. And over his lifetime, he changed his styles, which many artists do. This is a great example from his early years. I can't pinpoint when he was born. I went on his website. I think he's obviously avoiding when he was born, but you can kind of do the math. If he graduated college in 1955, he would have had to have been born probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 1930. So it's very rare to find an original piece of art from the 1960s, you guys, of such high quality. And there's his signature, URMSTON 63, and the canvas is framed with it's kind of an odd frame because it's got these butt joints. That's called a butt joint. That's not a miter joint. And I don't know, maybe he framed this himself. But really cool surrealistic image. Serialism, you guys, was a movement back in the early 1900s, which was basically started by artists like Max Ernst and Francis Picabia and De Chirico, and of course Marcel Duchamp got in later and turned it into Dadaism. But we have painters like Magritte and Dali, very famous surrealistic painters. And so this was a really great movement back in the early part of the century, and really developed well. So let's go look at this example. So it's got these bizarre, I'm not really sure what he's doing. I've written him an email, was able to correspond with him, so I'm going to get some email back possibly with some information about this canvas, and I'll have to do a follow-up video on this. But it's got this weird mountain range in the background with these cool clouds, and then everything, this is called what's called a one-point perspective, you guys, where these lines right here, these lines will go back to a vanishing point, and the vanishing point will be right in the center somewhere in the distance, and that's called a one-point perspective. When you have the perspective coming from two angles, that's called a two-point perspective. So this is a one-point perspective, and he's forcing the perspective angle up at you. The table would probably not really look like that, so he's distorting it a little bit, and that's what the surrealists did. You could even see it in Picasso's work and Braque's work before this all came down. Forcing perspective, changing angles, etc. But really excited to have this canvas, guys. And this is from his early years in the 1960s, from 1963. Now there's a very cool label on the back. Let me show you it. It's going to be kind of hard to flip it up and around, but see if I can do this. One hand. Oh, that wasn't good. But anyway, there's the label from the Art Rental Gallery, and it was at LACMA, which is the LA Museum of Contemporary Art, and back then it was just called the LA County Museum of Art. And there it is, we see James URMSTON from 1965. Now what this was a rental program where this gallery would rent out artwork to, you know, people, private collectors and people in corporations who needed artwork for their offices, etc. This rental program would allow you to rent really good art and not buy it, and always be able to have it be you know, changed out and basically rotated so nobody got real bored with the artwork on the walls. And that's what that art rental program was all about. And I think that they still possibly may have that. I'm not sure. But the price down there, $175. Back in 1965 you could buy that. And then there's a number 8. It says rental fee. I think that's $8. So maybe somebody paid $8 in 1965 to rent this canvas out for however long. And so let's think about $8 and what $8 was back in 1965. It was probably somewhere in the neighborhood of, gosh, I'm just guessing, but maybe $75, $100 today. $8 would be, I mean, inflation and everything else. Going off the gold standard, yada, yada, yada. So, but how about that, you guys? An original James URMSTON. So, I got an amazing deal. Not going to go into the price because, of course, I may embed this video. But he's going to get back to me on some prices, and I'm going to be talking to some other gallery people regarding some recent auction records. And I think this baby could be soaring into the thousands and possibly tens of thousands. We just don't know, people. And until I get an appraisal or talk to the artist himself, we're just going to have to find out. His later work changed into landscapes and more realistic work. So you're not going to find any of this stuff out there floating around too regularly, because the stuff's all gone, you guys. It's either gone or somebody's holding on to it. And to have this come into my possession, you know how I do it. I'm just very jazzed to have this, and very lucky and fortunate to be in the right place at the right time with the right education to choose this, you know. I found a couple other paintings along with it, which I'll probably show you in a possibly just a regular haul video, because they're nice pieces of art. And but this one was the home run of the day, and like I said, wow. This could go up into the thousands. I wouldn't doubt it at all, and possibly tens of thousands. So this guy, I think, is also undervalued. He's, you know, he's older now. Let's just face it. He's probably coming up on 80 years old, if not 80, and don't know his exact birth date, but you know. All right, you guys. So that's James URMSTON. And maybe I can actually talk to Mr. URMSTON and give him this link to this YouTube video, and he can see his work from 50 some odd years ago. More than 50 years ago, you guys, he painted this. Or exactly 50, because it's 63. Wow, time's gone by. Alright, you guys, so if you like this video, please subscribe, hit some likes, and come on back to the CPMA I want to try to do these every Friday, but sometimes I just don't get around to it. But come on back. Let me know what you think. And hit some likes. And remember, keep on picking your fine art. Alright guys, cheers.